This is a small tank engine in N-gauge scale. It was a promotional model and it's sitting on top of this box which contains two matching coaches. Around 1989 you could send away for this model with tokens which you got from packs of shredded wheat. If you don't know what that breakfast cereal is like, it looks like this and it tastes pretty much the same as if you shredded up some cardboard and tried to eat that, because it's really tasteless. But it has been going for many years and they've done various promotions to encourage people to buy the cereal. When this one was on offer, you could get this steam locomotive in two different ways. So you could collect 3 special tokens and send just £1, or you could collect 1 token and send £5 and get this model, which I think is a really good bargain actually. You could also send away for the coaches and all you needed for those was 1 token and £2.99. So let me get these coaches out and we'll have a look at this little train. So it's certainly an interesting looking train with those bright yellow coaches, but let's have a look at these a little bit closer up. I'll start off with the steam locomotive and it does have a good selection of detail for an N-gauge model. There's no motor in this one, it's just a push along model, so the wheels are free to revolve, but they do have these connecting rods as well which goes around and does actually look quite good. Bright red though, but these wheels are made of metal and they have plastic inserts. And we have this metal weight inside the locomotive as well. It's a small 060 tank engine with the Shredded Wheat Company written down the side of the locomotive with this yellow and red lining applied to it as well. Actually done really not too bad at all. It's a little bit off on this end, but it's not bad considering its age and also the price point for this little tiny model. There's a nice amount of detail on here. The buffer beam is also painted red. It's not a solid red colour, it's a bit blotchy in the middle there, but it does have these buffers coming through in the black, which is part of the chassis underneath. And the rest of the body has some nice rivet detail on it and some little bits and pieces which make it really quite an attractive model. And it has the chimney here picked out in this copper colour, and it is actually a separate part that's been added in there. I think it actually might be made of metal. And we also have this metal part here as well. There's no detail in the cab, you can just see that metal weight is inside there, and there's no glazing on the cab either. There's a fair representation of coal here back in the bunker. And at the back of the locomotive there's a couple of brackets moulded into the main piece of plastic there, and even rivet detail on the buffer beam as well. And the coupling here, it's quite a simple little ring with hooks on the coaches. The wheels are very free rolling. You can even see some brake gear there moulded into the main piece of the chassis as well. But it is commissioned by Graham Farish, so it does have an air of quality about it, even though the price point was just £1. It's amazing. Let's have a look at one of the coaches. I'm not quite sure what era of coach this is meant to be and whether it's even just a made-up coach which resembles one from that era, but it's certainly very bright. It even has extra black printed on here around the windows. You can see the Shredded Wheat Company logo there and this character in a circle. Now, it does look a bit like Isambard Kingdom Brunel perhaps with his top hat on, but I'm not quite sure why they've done that. There's no glazing or interior on these coaches. I mean, for £2.99 for 2, this is not too bad, and that included postage as well. We've got some detail here on the end of the coach, which is indicating some steps to go up to the roof. The roof is a single extra piece. It's moulded with these little air vents on the top. No moulding mark though, it looks quite good and almost a little bit textured as well. And the chassis has the running board the whole length of the coach and some nice detail on the springs there. This one just has plastic wheels and it has the coupling here, which is just a little stud on one end and a ring on the other. Underneath here you can see it says Graham Farish as well, and it has a part number of 1739. The other coach is almost identical. It's got the same chassis and same roof, but it's slightly different at this end because we have a guard area with this little part here sticking out the side of the coach, and it says TSW and Co on the side, which is the Shredded Wheat Company, so that's quite cool. So let me get this onto a piece of N-gauge track so you can see what it looks like. It does look pretty good on the test track. Obviously there's no power here, so I'm just going to push it with my finger. It's very free rolling, and the action of the connecting rod on the steam locomotive actually looks really cool as well when it's going along. As well as this model, on the pack was a cutout little house that you could add as part of a scenic backdrop to this model. But even though this fits no problem at all onto N-gauge track, they didn't actually offer any N-gauge track as part of this promotion. So we'll just put the tank engine onto the scales just to check how much it weighs. So the locomotive weighs 36 grams and the coaches just 12 grams. So I have to admit this is one of the better serial promotional models I've ever seen, and it was such a cheap price as well. Okay, it was back in 1989 and prices have changed now obviously, but it's still an incredibly low price, and it included delivery to you as well here in the UK. That steam locomotive I think would look great on a model railway even to this day. Okay, the coaches are showing their age a little bit, but you could repaint these if you wanted to. But I think the charm in this model is the fact that it is what it is, a promotional model for the Shredded Wheat Company. For some reason decided that N-gauge gauge models from Graham Farish were the things that kids wanted back in 1989. And I think good on them for producing this, because I think it encouraged a lot of people to get interested in model railways, and they could get this set for such a low price that they could just give it a go and see how they felt about it. If you were interested in buying this little set, you're going to have to look on eBay or somewhere like that, because obviously you can't get these anymore, and they're not in the Graham Farish catalogue either. So I hope you like looking at this little promotional model. It's a bit of an oddity, but I actually quite enjoy seeing things like this. So let me know what you thought about my analysis of this model in the comments below, and also let me know as well if you actually sent away for this model and whether you still have it or not. In the meantime though, if you can give this video a thumbs up, it's really appreciated. It definitely helps this channel, and thanks very much. I'll put this on the turntable so you can see all the way around, and there'll be another video popping up on screen soon. You can click through and watch that, and I'll see you there.